It's been a while since I did a video. I've had this thing on my mind for a while about the importance of street art and the difference between street art, graffiti and urban art. Now the big one for me, graffiti and street art, the difference there lies audience. Now for a graffiti artist, a writer, it's all about the respect of your peers. It's all about getting up, it's all about your peers seeing you get up and having top quality letters, form and being up a lot. So their audience really is their peers. It really does focus on a very small group of people. And, you know, as with street art, graffiti is vandalism. The difference with street art though is audience. It's directed at everyone. It's there for everyone to enjoy. It's there for the public. It's all about other people appreciating and seeing it more so than your peers. It's not about getting up the most, it's about getting up with quality pieces. Now, one of the things that really is important to street art, I think, is the word street. That's where street art really is at its best. Street art for me, in terms of art, is like a tiger that roams the wild. It does and exists as it pleases within that world. Now, for me, and this is for me an answer I hold true only for myself, and I intend to force it on no one else, urban art is very much that tiger, skinned, nailed down on some rich guy's floor. And it does make the city beautiful. But with street art, it's about fuck you. I'll put art wherever I want. And the ethics on that, for me anyway, and this is why I can do this straight down the camera with my face in full view, despite doing illegal work, is I believe, earnestly, that the public should have a say in the public space. How it looks. We're the ones who see it. For example, a big company buys a building, let it do what they want inside that building. It's entirely up to them. But the public space, the space that we see and exist and that building exists within, belongs to us. We really should have a say in that space. That's my ethical argument. And for me, I feel absolutely no shame or guilt in what I do. I think it's very important that this sort of pretty vandalism happens. And it is vandalism, no bones about it, there are laws against it. This is how vandalism is defined, defacing someone else's property. But my bone of contention is whose is that property? Because if the property is in the public space, it's the public's property. It doesn't belong to that big company. And for me, as I say, urban art is the death of that wild animal. It makes the city beautiful. I won't argue against that. And I won't say that urban art is a great thing, because it is. It really is a great thing. It makes the city vibrant, it brings people in, it gives us a sense of identity and belonging to that city. And as artists too, it's very profitable. And it's important that you be able to make a living. Making a living is what lets you make more art. It gives you the time to make the art, it gives you the money to make the art, it gives you the materials to make the art. So urban art is critically important. It really is. It's where artists finally break free and can exist at a paycheck that's reasonable for what we do. But I'm a street artist. I'm not a fine artist by any stretch of the imagination. I don't have the training, I don't have the education, and I don't have the experience. And that's one of the beauties of street art. It's there for everyone. Anyone can go out and put a pretty act of vandalism on a wall. That's quite important, I believe. But one of the things that I've failed at is the street work. Now I was going back through a book of mine that I call the Evidence Locker. It's got photos of my earliest street art, and I was so prolific when I started. In the first 3 months I must have put up 100, 150 pieces of work. Be they sculptural, be they paste-ups, be they stencils. I was out there putting up work every night. And I forgot that. I forgot how much I enjoyed that. I also forgot how important it was to my practice. As I say, I'm not a fine artist bootlace, not in a million years. I simply don't have the understanding. But I can be a street artist. Now, one of the things that I noticed going through my old work is everything was message driven. I was trying to convey a set of thoughts, a set of beliefs, and maybe bring a sense of comfort to people. Maybe. Or maybe a sense of discomfort to people too. That's equally important sometimes. But in forgetting to do the street art, forgetting to do the street part of street art, I just became a pseudo-fine artist, without the education, without the training, using what little clout I built up over the years from my street art to try and make money. And I'll be frank, I wasn't terribly successful at that. My work has a small audience. And look, to be fair, if you've got an audience, one person, that's a bit of a win. It's not a terrible thing to have just one fan, because one is enough. And with my small audience, I kind of broke faith when I stopped doing street work. I let them down. I tried to pretend I was something I wasn't. And that's what I want to get back to. The illegal stuff. The stuff that really defined my work. The stuff that gave me the word street in street art. And the legal work comes with a coin of cost. And that coin is risk. The risk of hurting yourself, getting something up in an awkward place or a high place. The risk of getting caught and arrested. That was the price I pay with street art, to be able to do street art and make art with no education. There's a coin you pay. I think that coin's important. I think it's an important distinction too between urban art and street art. Street art is all about risk and it costs. Urban art is safe. It's very safe. The marks you make are marks that other people want to see on those walls. You become their agent. You become an agent of people with money. You become an agent of the people who nailed in that tiger skin. As I say, money's ace. Money lets you buy more cool shit, and cool shit intrinsically is cool shit. You want it. It's good stuff. It also puts food on the table. So don't think of this as a diss on any urban artist. As I say, this is a truth that I hold only for myself. But thinking about what I do, it's not aggressive. It's gentle. Sure, I'm taking the space from a large company or business or whoever it is. But I don't believe that space was theirs to start with. And I also believe in Australia, property ownership already is an act of aggression. This isn't our land, not the land of white people like me from the West. This is the land of the first people. This is Australia, an Indigenous Australia. And we live here without permission. We took all this land. So when BHP builds a fucking building in the public space, they're building it on the bones of those slaughtered in that genocide. So you'll forgive me if I don't have a whole lot of respect for that. So where does it go next? Well, I recently met someone who shook me. Woke something up in me that I'd put to sleep in the pursuit of money. So the message-driven stuff that I didn't get much of a response. People weren't a huge fan of it. So I started going softer and prettier and dropped the message and went for safety. I got myself a homogenous audience, people who like those pretty marks. But sometimes it's important to piss people off. And just a heads up, I'm about to start pissing people off again.